Today, we are talking about the best parts of Family Search. It's going to be a guide of how to use Family Search, but it's not all extensive. In fact, we're just pointing out my very favorite parts of Family Search. And whether you are on Family Search or not, whether you are a beginner or an advanced user, these are some of the best pieces of FamilySearch.org's website to help you build your family tree. So if you're an Ancestry user, you should be using Family Search. It is free. Why not? It's got records that you can't find anywhere else. So let's jump into it. I'll show you some of my favorite parts about how to use Family Search to do your research. If there's a handout for this episode, you can download it with one of the higher level memberships on YouTube or on Patreon. For $10 to $15 a month, depending on the membership, you can have access to the handouts as they are produced to go with the newest video. If you are a Genealogy TV Academy member, you have access to all of the handouts ever produced, available anytime in the handouts library. If you are not a member of any of those, you can still purchase the individual handouts at genealogytv.org. Producing these videos really does take a lot of time and resources, so every membership helps keep them coming. To learn more about memberships, go to genealogytv.org/memberships and you can learn all about it. The handouts really do help support the channel, and for that, I truly thank you. Okay, just a quick overview about Family Search. It is a collaborative tree. It is everybody working on the same tree. If you have never been to Family Search before and you are new to this, the first time you go there, just sign up. It's free. It's not going to spam you or anything. So what you do is you follow this little wizard, and it's going to ask you who you are and who your parents are, and you start building a family tree away from the world collaborative tree until you have enough information in there that there's somebody already in the world tree that you connect to. Then you are part of this giant, huge tree. Okay, so one thing you need to know when we go back to the home page, I'm on the tree tab right now, but if we go back to the home page, wait for it. This is usually where you'll start when you first log in. And there are a couple new features on the homepage. These are widgets and things. So each one of these boxes is a widget. You can collapse it if you want. You can collapse it even further. You can see things that you have recently been viewing, record hints, and so on. There's the research labs. We're going to talk briefly about that a little bit later. But we're going to work our way across the tabs across the top. Now, one of the things you need to know is that when you click into any of these tabs, the drop-down menu here is the same as the menu going across. So once you're into one of these top-level menus, your submenus right here. Now, one of the things you need to know about is the search tab. So these two are the tabs that we're going to be working on the most, the family tree tab and the search tab. Again, this is not a full extensive how to use Family Search. It is really focused on records and how to research the best. Maybe how to use the ancestor profile and stuff will be in a completely different video at some other time. But right now, we're going to be talking about research and using Family Search. Now, one of the things you need to know about too is that Family Search is a really great companion with Ancestry.com. We're not going into Ancestry today. We're talking about Family Search. So if Family Search is your only place to go, that is fine. But I'm just telling you, if you're an Ancestry user and you're not really that familiar with Family Search, oh my gosh, the pair together is a huge combo. I have done a bunch of videos in the past about how to use Family Search and Ancestry together. And we'll talk about a few of those tricks today. But for the most part, we're talking about research. Let's jump in. Of course, AI is everywhere. And it is, over the last couple of years, starting to integrate more and more into the research platforms that we typically use, and Family Search is no different. Here you can see the very top wizard here, the top widget, I should say, is an AI assistant, and it is going out and it's looking for records. This is very similar to the hints that you see on Ancestry. Let's close that. Again, recently viewed, we have record hints here. There's a couple things I wanted to point out, though, on the front page that you might not be aware of. And one of those is the to-do list. So this little widget I think is kind of helpful. You can actually enter, and this is just for you on your account, is that you can put items in to follow up on. Hey, don't forget to go check on the so-and-so, right? You can add that right here and create a little to-do list. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, we're going to jump into this first tab, the family tree tab, and drop down to tree. But I want to show you something, because when I first started playing with Family Search, I didn't understand this and it confused me. So this is your tree. If you go to the search tab and you see family tree, this is not your tree. This is searching the entire world tree for people that are in that tree. So if you're trying to figure out how you're related to a cousin or something, you might go find them on the family tree from this tab. So search family tree is searching the whole big tree, coming over the family tree tab and dropping down to tree brings you to the work you have been doing. Of course, you are in the center, your parents, your grandparents, and so on. Now, some of the things I want to point out here too, this is one of my favorite tools. I love this thing. Well, first of all, let's go over here. You can change this to the landscape view if you want. I personally like the fan chart on Family Search. If you want to center it up, you can, or if you get lost along the way, here's the center button. So if you need to like center yourself or whoever you're working on, the home button brings it back to you if you have set yourself as the home person. This is my favorite part though. Look at this. This is so much fun. I love this part because you have the family lines that are colored, right? And by the way, I'm in dark mode. So if you're normally used to seeing it like this is where you switch it to dark mode. I just find it easier on the eyes. So you can switch to, I think this is birth country. So you can switch it to country. To me, this is the real ethnicity estimator, right? You've got DNA ethnicities. Throw that out the window. Use the birth location as the ethnicity estimates, even though maybe somebody was born who is German and they're born in France. I don't know. But point being is this is going to be a little bit more proven than the ethnicity estimates you're going to find in any DNA results. All right, I could go into that all day long. Sources. Look at this. This is sources and the number of sources. So you can see here the legend on the left saying that the bright orange is 10 or more sources. You can go into stories. Not a lot of stories here. This is more of people writing stuff or uploading stuff into the stories area. Photographs. And then research helps. Now, here you can see that there are record hints. There are no data problems showing here because myself and everyone else working on this view of the tree have pretty much cleared all those data problems. So that's good. And then research suggestions. And you can just highlight those if you want. So you can also highlight the record hints. I absolutely love what they have done with the tree views. Of course, this is where I default most of the time, is to the family lines. You can also change the number of generations if you want, up to 7. Now, as I'm recording this, we're about a month away from RootsTech. You got to know that everybody puts out new stuff at RootsTech. And so with RootsTech coming, some of this information may be changed by the time you see this, but for the most part, yeah, and you can even print it, believe it or not. And so, yes, this is one of my absolute favorite places to go. Check this out. What's new? New in my tree, new in family groups. This is a new area, this little piece of information. If we click on that, it's going to give us some information. You can read through that. So they are improving the merging experience, which is good. And so you can read through that and see some of the new features that are coming. I'm sure they're going to be talking more about that at RootsTech. Okay, so the World Collaborative Tree that we are talking about, there are some good things and some not so good things about the World Tree. And so I just want to point those out. If you are new to FamilySearch, you may not be aware. So this is a world tree. Everybody is working on the same ginormous family tree. And so anyone can change information. So if you are, you have an ancestor and you are working on putting sources and stuff in, and someone goes in and changes those details, and you are not aware that they changed them, or you disagree or whatever, sometimes this can cause a little conflict. You can go in and take a look at who has been modifying it. So if we scroll down a little bit, you can see latest changes, and you can see who has made those changes. You can click on show all and it will take you there. And you can see some of the reasons this man was born with a different name. And so you can see, and I made that note, you can see that the reason for the name change or whatever. And so you can see why people put information in there. Here it says none of these records said Virginia. So they made a change. This is fine. I'm just letting you know that this is kind of the not so good side, but on the same comment, it could be good because there are multiple eyes on the same person, and it could be that you discover, oh, I made a mistake. I didn't mean to do that. Or, good point, Mr. So-and-so. Thanks for pointing that out. And so you can find that information right down here where it says latest changes. Okay, before you fill up the comment section about how people have changed your ancestors' information and you're upset about it, let's go talk about something for a second. I'm going to go back over to the tree, and I'm going to show you something I discovered yesterday while preparing for this episode. Down here, you see this whole branch is disconnected. And so let's go jump over here and see what's going on. So I had in here originally this ancestor's father noted in here because it was an illegitimate birth. And so I had put the biological father in based on DNA evidence. So if we go down here to the latest changes, you can see that somebody put in here the deleted relationship. And here you can see where this person did this, and you can see where it says no evidence for this union. And that's fine. Okay, there is no record. There is no, birth record or anything specific about this union. So I can appreciate the collaboration of somebody wanting to delete that relationship. I do know that this is correct based on years of research to try and fix this. So what am I going to do? I'm going to probably reach out to this person and have a chat or an email, because if I click through to his profile, I can get his email address and email him. I'm not going to do that. Why? Because in all reality, I need to write a proof argument first. I need to document what I have found and explain in a document why I know this father to be the father. And so I need to do that. And I'm not, in all fairness to this person, he was looking at it and going, hey, there's no evidence here that Joel Davis Jr. was his father. And so I'm going to go write that another time, not today, but I'm going to go write that proof argument and eventually get back to this ancestor on FamilySearch and add it. Sometimes if it's minor little changes like name changes, name spelling, this shouldn't say Gus in quotes technically because it doesn't search right. I probably did that years ago, back before I knew any better. So this needs to get cleaned up, but I'm not going to do any of that right now. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal to me. Some of the minor details, my go-to trees on Ancestry, that's the one that I really keep clean, absolutely know to be the truth. And since this is a world collaborative tree, I don't always have the final say in some things, but on my Ancestry account, I do. I'm just pointing that out Please don't fill up the comment sections with arguments with other people about whether this is right or wrong. I actually think the collaboration is good. More people are working on a family tree, the better. Let's just make sure that we can show our evidence of why we believe something is true before we go and change it back or go and make modifications. We've got to have evidence, and that's what the sources tab is all about in the profile. And I'm not going to go through all of the evidence part of it or even the profile part of it really in this video. I'm talking about research. Okay, there's a couple more things on the family tree tab that I want to point out. So we've talked about the tree. This is recent, what you've been working on recently. Find. So if we go to find, you get to this search. You can find anyone that's already in the tree that you want to find. You can also find by ID. Let me explain that in a minute. But so you can search the find. I also want to point out that so this is find right here, but if you go to search and you go to the family tree, it's going to take you to the same page. There are two different places in the menus that's going to take you to the same place. Follow your ancestors. I think this is one of the best features on FamilySearch, and I think it's one of those things that people don't really use enough. So if you are in your, let's say, well, how I got here. How I got here is family tree following, and this is where I'm at now. So I can follow the ancestors that I am working on. And what is really great about it is you can see where changes have been made by various people. And so this, if you don't hit the follow button on your ancestor, though, you're not going to be able to follow them. Let me show you. So if we go back to the tree for a second, and let's say I am, let's see, am I following him? I don't remember. Let's pick her. So I can hit this star button, and now I'm following her. And so I can also add a label if I want to say that I'm actively researching or whatever. So now I can also search the Henley name in my list and get all of the Henleys that I am actively, here's the one I just followed. So you can see that all of these people are in here. Okay, let's move over to the search tab now. If we drop down to records, here I'm on the home page, but if we drop down to records, we get a search box that looks like this. So this allows us to search by name, which is probably what most people do. So we kind of really, anytime we're doing family history, we need a name, a place, and a date that corresponds. So ideally, a birth event would be, you know, where the person was born and the year they were born at least, and their name. And so here you can click on more options. I'll show you that in a second. You can search by collection if you want, and you can search by place. I'm not going to go into those too much, but what you can do is come up here and add additional information. I would suggest that whatever event it is that you're searching, remember you're kind of trying to have something in mind when you search, but you could just search for your ancestor's name here. You could add a spouse, you could add a father, a mother, other persons if you want. And so with that information, you can search additional information. This is one I want to point out down here. So if we flip over here, you can search a film number if you find a family history library number, a film number somewhere else. For example, if we're over here on Ancestry, and let's pretend for a moment that this is a really hard to read census record, and we want to see if we can find that on FamilySearch and see if it might appear a little bit better. It often does. If you see this family history library film number right here, go and copy the film number. I'm going to Control-C to copy that. And I'm going to come back over to FamilySearch, and I'm going to drop down. Remember, I'm in this menu, and I'm going to put that film number in, and I'm going to hit search. And what it does is it takes me to everyone that is in that film. So then I can then search the name of the person that I am searching here, and or give it additional information and hit the search button, and likely find the same page. Now remember, when you're over here, you want to take note of what page you're on. Here it says page 72 right in the source, but it also shows it up here. So it would behoove you to do that. Even if you are back over here, you can just jump into the image and go see if you can find page 72. This looks like page 101, so we would need to go back about, I don't know, 30 pages maybe. If I'm on 208, I need to go back to like, I don't know, 175. And here's image 72. So it could be that this particular image might be easier. It just depends on the situation. Sometimes those images on Ancestry or vice versa, if you can find the same image, this is Ancestry, this is FamilySearch, Ancestry, FamilySearch, same page. And so sometimes if you see that FHL number, you can find it on FamilySearch doing that trick. Okay, just to get you the lay of the land again, we are under search and under records at the moment, and we have been playing in this area. You can search by collection if you want to say search census records or probate packages or whatever. There's actually a better way to do that, I think. You can also search by place, which might give you some family histories or some books, that kind of thing, but I think there's a better place for that as well. However, let's jump back up to the search tab and drop down to full text search. And this is, I think, probably the best thing that has come out in the genealogy world in decades. And that is because at FamilySearch, the full text search is reading full text, the whole document. It's not just what's been indexed. And even better is it's reading handwriting recognition. You know, it's doing that handwriting recognition so it can read that stuff. That gives you the opportunity to search keywords like last will and testament, guardianship, those kind of things, as well as adding your ancestor's name in there and a place and a year and so on. I've got several episodes about how to use the FamilySearch full text search, so I'm not going to go into great detail about it today, but I can tell you that if you're not using it, this is your number one next stop, because any ancestor that you're researching, you will likely find more records, and then primarily official government records. They're either going to be court records, you know, so that could be wills, it could be probate package, even if there wasn't a will. It could be guardianship kind of stuff, adoptions. There's just so much in here now, and they keep spreading worldwide. So it's just amazing what you can find in the FamilySearch full text search. Let's briefly talk about the FamilySearch ID number. Every ancestor has a unique ID number. And so as we scroll around, let's just pick somebody here. You can see this ID number up here at the top. If you click on it, it automatically copies, which is awesome. And you can also find it here. If we go to the person's profile, you will see that the web link also includes the person's ID number at the top. Well, what's really nice is if you are searching the family tree, you can hit more options. And you can search by ID, find by ID. You can click that in there and it will take you right back to that person that has that ID number, and then you can open their profile. And it is that easy. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to keep the ID number in my research notes. Now, a lot of times, not only will I add the ID number, but I will hyperlink it so that I can just at a click go back and find that person on FamilySearch. A lot of times I will do this. In fact, I will hyperlink it also to my own Ancestry account so that I can click on that and I can bing bang back and forth between Ancestry and FamilySearch. Remember, the combination of the two is very powerful. And so I could then go and see what sources maybe that people over here on FamilySearch have found that I might not have included in my research notes or have included in my tree on Ancestry. So again, how you find that is under the search tab, right? And you drop down to family tree as you see here, and then you click on Find by ID, and that's where you plug in an ID number. The next menu item, I think a lot of people overlook, and that is the genealogies area. So again, search genealogies, or if you're in the submenu, it's here. This is where people have uploaded their Gedcom files. So if you're not familiar with what a Gedcom file is, first of all, if you were on Ancestry or some other MyHeritage or some other platform, you a lot of times can download your tree as a Gedcom file. You don't need to open it or anything. You would just upload it to a different platform. Well, you can do that here, and it doesn't get modified. So here in the genealogies area, these are where people have stored a family tree. It's not part of the World Collaborative Tree. These are separate individual member trees. And so let's search Henley. I already did that, looks like. So here are a bunch of family trees in the genealogies area, not part of the World Collaborative Tree. And if I go and I find one I want to, I don't know. Here, let's try this one. Is this one my own or not? It says IGI index. Interesting. So here, the IGI is the International Genealogical Index, just FYI. So here, it looks similar, and I can zoom out and see what this tree has to offer. And it's got some information in here. And so I might want to take a look at that. And so who knows what this information may hold, but I'm just saying that's another way that you could go search. So I would suggest, if you're not finding what you're looking for, go into the genealogies. A lot of times this is older information that people have uploaded a long time ago, or in some cases recent information. So if you want to make sure that you got the record straight, and you don't like that collaborative thing because somebody keeps changing your information back, download your family tree from wherever your go-to tree is as a Gedcom file, and then upload it here in the genealogies section. So if we go back to the genealogies section and we scroll down, you can then upload your individual tree here. Moving on to the catalog. So we have the catalog right here, right under search, catalog, same place. And here you can search the Family Search Catalog. And here it says books, records, images, and other important sources. So the great part about this, especially if you're getting ready to go to Roots Tech and you're going to be doing some research, and let's say its information is not available online, then you can come here and see if you can go find that book that you were looking for. There's, lots and lots, hundreds, probably thousands and thousands of books that people have written over the decades, over the centuries, that have family history information in it, and it may not be digitized. And so it's not available online. So you can go to the Family History Center, or if you're going to be in Salt Lake City, you can go to the Family History Center there and look up the catalog number and see if you can find that book and put it on your print list to go investigate that while you're in Salt Lake City. Now this whole area is being revamped over the last couple of years and has a new look. And if you'll notice, you have a catalog and then you also have a section called books. Well, what is the difference? This is actually a digital library. So this is stuff that has been digitized and is available online in most cases. So here you can search for records. It says books, family histories, maps, yearbooks, and more. So here you can search as well. So I would advise you to look both at the catalog and at the books section. Two different areas. They look very similar. They may be confusing. It's not going to hurt you to go search in both places, right? So the digital library is another place for you to look. All right, last but not least is the FamilySearch Wiki. And so here we have search, drop down to Research Wiki, and you come to a page like this. And this is probably the place to go if you are looking for resources, where to find things. And so if we were to just drill into North America, then drop down to, say, the United States, pick a state, and then once you're into a state location, you can start to see all of the counties on a map. This is an interactive map, so you can click into a county and it'll take you right there. Once you are there, it gives you information. I love this little box. This is one of the best things they ever did. When did birth records start? Marriage records, death records. This is probably at the civil level. And then you've got court, land, probate, census, all kinds of stuff. Let me go back one just to show you some more information. So here we are on the state map. And this box is super important on the right-hand side because it gives you hyperlinks to all of the different places. And this is like a cheat sheet. If you're trying to figure out what it is you still haven't looked for, look through this list. It gives you some ideas as to what it is that you might be needing to look for. And so, oh, I haven't got an obituary. Great. Click on the obituary link and it'll take you down, drop you down to the page where it talks about obituaries and where to find them. And it'll give you a little $sign if it is a paid location, or it will, say Family Search here. It just, gives you some links to take you there. And so very cool. Let's jump over to, just for grins and giggles, immigration, passport records online. So here it's telling you that Family Search has some passports. Passport applications is at Ancestry. So I'm telling you, no matter what you're looking for, go look at the Family Search Research Wiki. Again, search, drop down to Research Wiki, and it will take you to that big map. And then you can drill into whatever location it is that you need to go to and see what you can find along the way.